What we have in the United States is not the perfect model, but it is damn near as perfect as it comes, which is why everyone is escaping and coming to the United States, because the American dream, while not guaranteed, is most achievable here. The new American dream is literally built for capitalists, people who understand that money is a byproduct of adding value to society, and the more value I can add to society, the more money I can make. The new American dream is easier to enter, but people think that they need to be a celebrity, an influencer. No one is there to knight you as a celebrity or an influencer. You just decide that you are, and you start creating content, influencing minds and people, and then making money as a byproduct.
Remember, adversity is your advantage.
Hey friends, welcome back to another amazing episode of the CEO Show with yours truly, your host, Bryce Henson, here back in the studio with my man, B. B, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Good to be back.
Alrighty, well, the American dream, this is a topic we're going to talk about, and there's a big debate, my dude. Is it alive? Is it well? Is it dead? And you are here in the studio. Would love some feedback from a guy that I view as a living, walking American dream.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I think first off, we have to acknowledge the fact that the American dream is something that everybody has. It's not just those living in the United States, but everyone worldwide has the American dream, whether they want to come to America and be able to have the freedom and the opportunity to create wealth and to buy that home and to have the freedom, or wherever country they live in, they understand what the American dream is: freedom, opportunity, access to things, and not having the government's thumb oppressing you. And so we know what the American dream is, and most believe, in fact, I think I saw a survey 6 or 8 months ago come out that said something like only 22% of people now believe that the American dream is still possible.
22.
Yeah. And I don't think it's because people are pessimistic. I think people misunderstand what the new American dream is.
Yeah.
And there is a new American dream, but no one's out there educating them. And so something you and I talked about in a meeting yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Is that the new American dream is very different than what the American dream was, which was get your college degree and go find a career in a big company that's going to keep you there for 20, 25, 30 years. And you're going to have some kind of a 401k. You're going to work up in salary. You're going to have a Rolex when you retire. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Those days worked well in the 60s, 70s, all the way into the 80s. And then when conglomerates and monopolies started to take over and buying each other out, and businesses and big companies, organizations got shipped overseas, people were very quickly losing their jobs. In fact, I think now the average person keeps their job about 7 years. Every 7 years, they rotate jobs. Think how many times between the time you get out of college and the day that you retire, you're going to have a new first day at work, right? And so that's not the American dream anymore. And what we're going to talk about today is what the American dream really is.
Totally. One other big disruptor, I would say, is the internet, right?
Yeah.
That was a huge, disruptor in the American dream. And let's face it, in business, in marketing, in life, what worked yesterday doesn't necessarily work today. It doesn't mean that marketing or business is obsolete.
Right.
It just means you need to be able to change strategy.
That's it. You got to pivot. And look what we did in 2020. We were able to pivot enough times throughout the pandemic where we changed our business model, massaged our business model, changed the way we market, and we continued to survive and thrive during the pandemic. It's no different than the American dream. And with the American dream, I think most people need to understand that, again, it's not dead. It's the new American dream. And the new American dream is very much impacted by the internet. It's very much influenced by the current level of inflation, because there was a time that the American dream said, if you are well educated, you can go get a job, and that job will give you enough income to support you, your wife, and your 2.3 kids, right? Your 2 kids and a dog. And you'll have a house, you'll be able to buy a car, you'll be able to go on your annual vacation. That is still what some people believe to be the American dream. They're like, well, I can't do that anymore. You're right. Inflation has taken that away from you, and access to a lot of technology has eroded a lot of opportunities. But the new American dream still is very much achievable. And I think the barrier to entry into the new American dream because of the internet and social media and the ability to create multiple income streams, the new American dream, the barrier to it is actually easier to enter.
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting you talk about inflation, and we've seen inflations in record proportion over the last few years. It's a derivative of COVID, lockdowns injecting tons of capital into the economy. What most people don't realize is inflation is a hidden tax on the poor and middle class. Because if you're wealthy, if you're a business owner, if you're actually pursuing the new American dream, guess what? You have the ability to raise your prices. Okay, you have the ability to launch new products and services. But when you're stuck with golden handcuffs or into a 9-to-5, you don't have that luxury. So actually, the people at the lower end of the totem pole are the ones that suffer the most, and that's why I think redefining and attacking the new American dream is really important for everyone listening today.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that up too. That inflation is a tax on the poor and the middle class. Because for those of us that are doing well financially, if you have rental properties and buildings and assets, inflation just drives the price of my rent that I charge my tenants. Inflation increases the value of the buildings that I own, the properties that I own. Inflation increases the cost of what I'm going to charge for my products and services. Right. And so if you're an entrepreneur who's successful and you have assets, inflation actually increases your wealth. If you are middle class and you're poor and you're working on a fixed income, as in a salary or X amount of dollars per hour, inflation will literally run your ass into the ground.
And we see that. We're seeing that today.
Yeah.
So I guess playing the devil's advocate, or at least providing some coaching, what are some opportunities from your lens, B, that people are missing today in the new economy, the new American dream, that should be looked at a little bit more aggressively?
So imagine this. Let's go back to the 1.0 version of the American dream. And if we told people 15 years ago, 20 years ago, hey, would you like to be on the late night show with David Letterman or Jay Leno or whoever? And they would say, well, yeah.
Heck yeah.
And we would say, well, why? You're just a regular person doing a regular job in some regular company. Why? Well, if I could do that, I'd be famous. And if I could be famous, I could make more money. So everyone understands that that they can connect access to audience, fame, assuming that you add some value through that fame, whether it's entertainment, education, a product, a service, you create a new mousetrap, whatever it is. So many people have ideas, but there's always been a gatekeeper to big media, right? And because there's been a gatekeeper to big media, people that were like, man, I got an idea, but if I could only get on the late night show, if I can get on Good Morning America, if I can just get on the news, there was a time you couldn't. You needed an agent. You needed some kind of a contact on the inside. Today, there is none of that. In fact, social media, YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok will create more eyeballs of the right eyeballs because the algorithm is designed to get the right eyeballs in front of your content. And so this is why I say the barrier is lower. Because think about this. If I'm like, man, if I play my cards right, I've created this widget and I work on it every weekend and at nights after I leave my work. If I could just get on the late night show with Jay Leno, if the right people are watching, this product's going to pop off.
It's going to blow up.
Well, now I can take that product to social media and say, this is a product for men or for women, and it solves this problem or adds this value. And then social media goes, based on the hashtags that you put and the words you used and the words you said, because they use a lot of AI and algorithm to decipher what this video or post is about. They go, I think you're trying to market to men or women in this age bracket, in this socioeconomic bracket, and also who are experiencing this problem in life. Look how targeted social media can make your message. And it will show that message to an audience. And you don't need an agent. You don't need a manager. There is no gatekeeper. And so the reason I say the new American dream, the barrier is easier to get into is because if you have a product or service idea, you want to add value to the world. You're funny. You're entertaining. You know how to apply makeup better than anyone else. Think about how many tutorial videos there are. And you don't even have to have a product or a service, because if you know how to apply makeup better than anyone else, if you know how to give yourself a better haircut than someone else has given themselves, and you share that on social media, enough people are going to watch it where you're going to have an audience. And then once you have an audience, hair clipper company, scissor company, a comb company, a makeup company is going to reach out to you and say, can we pay you you X amount of dollars. An energy drink company, you're going to have so many sponsors, not to mention the revenue share you're going to do with YouTube, right? We all watch YouTube and we see that all of a sudden you're watching YouTube and it goes to a commercial. It shows an ad. Well, I get half of that ad money and YouTube keeps half of that ad money when I'm doing the BK show. So I share this with you because the new American dream is easier to enter, but people think that they need to be a celebrity, an influencer. No one is there to knight you as a celebrity or an influencer. You just decide that you are, and you start creating content, influencing minds and people, and then making money as a byproduct of it.
So B, I'm going to take a flashback, probably about 10 years ago now. I was in a room, you were teaching a mastermind when I just started my Fit Body business, and I'll never forget, use the words of manufacturing celebrity. And for the first time I stood back, because I just always thought, okay, like celebrities, they're just kind of special people. They just kind of walked into it, maybe got lucky, certainly have talent, et cetera. But there's an opportunity. You can actually manufacture celebrity. And B, I've seen you do that. I'm certainly on that way as well. And it's been pretty inspiring to not only tap into your brain, see that coaching, but actually see it in real life.
Yeah. I mean, over those 10 years, you saw it come to fruition. And by no means am I saying it's an overnight dream, right? I'm not saying that the new American dream is an overnight success thing. It's not. 10 years ago, you were in that mastermind, and it hit me that I can start using social media, the internet, to create a message for a specific industry with a specific targeted audience to make them specific offers and to enrich their lives with value, with content, with information. And then because of that, they will give me money in exchange for my product or service. And if I didn't have a product or service, then I would have a sponsorship deal with all these different products or services that I could give to that audience, right? And when it hit me and I realized if I can put out content consistently enough, showcase different parts of my life, and begin to develop the know, like, and trust factor with the audience watching me, if they know, like, and trust me, they see me as a celebrity because I manufacture that celebrity. Because don't we do that? I mean, you've got, who was the guy from Jeopardy? Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
He promotes AARP. He is the number one voice of AARP. Well, how come? The reason he is because everybody was watching Jeopardy, and now they're older. They're in the perfect age for AARP, and they used him as a host because he's got the know, like, and trust factor. And so there's audiences all over the internet, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, who are waiting for you to give them value and information in exchange for them giving you money for a product or a service. But most people think that a celebrity, again, is something that's magically created, that you need the it factor. You don't. Look at Jake Paul and his brother, right? The Paul brothers. They're just some young kids that go on YouTube, do funny things, and then they created Prime Energy Drink. They created all these different companies. You look at Kim Kardashian, right? Absolutely talentless. However, right? And literally,
call a spade a spade,
Yeah, Kim Kardashian, absolutely talentless, made and designed by plastic surgeons and injections of all types of fillers and chemicals and all this shit. However, she used social media and reality shows to leverage herself and has a $1 billion brand. Let me tell you, man, anyone watching and listening to this, we're far smarter, more intelligent, and probably have more value to give to the world than Kim Kardashian. So let's take that to the social medias and manufacture your own celebrity and begin to serve humanity and make more money because of it.
So speaking of exchanging value for solving problems, which is the essence of the economic system of capitalism,
right,
which we are capitalists and we absolutely love. I'm curious from your lens, B, what is the economic system of capitalism? How does that incorporate and how is that part of the American dream?
Well, again, current capitalism says that we need to create multiple income streams. So capitalism is just this. If you build a better mousetrap, that's great. If you build a better mousetrap and you market it better than me, that's even better, right? That is capitalism. Capitalism says it is free enterprise. You are welcome to do anything you want legally and ethically to grow your business. That doesn't mean you're guaranteed to win because I'm working just as hard, if not harder, than you to promote my mousetrap. And that's what capitalism allows for. It says, may the better product, and then in parentheses, that is marketed better and sold better, win. That is the essence of capitalism, that the market will decide what the better product is. The market will decide how much they're willing to pay for that product. And I love that. There's no government setting the price and saying, Bryce, because you're making this much money, you have to give 90% of away. There's countries out there that will limit the amount of money you're allowed to make.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's capitalism. The current capitalism system also says that we have to create multiple income streams. The new American dream says that we have to have multiple income streams. So think of the person who has a day job, and they decide that on evenings and some weekends, they're going to also drive Uber. Cool. Great job. Now imagine if also they decided to create a social media channel where, again, they added some kind of a value. I don't know, maybe you cook things, you barbecue things. You want to teach people how to barbecue ribs and cook steak. Maybe you make great desserts. Maybe you're a florist and you want to teach how to make your own flowers from your backyard and put it in a vase instead of going to the store and buying some flowers. There's so many how-to things you can teach, and now that's a third income stream. The new American dream is literally built for capitalists, people who understand that money is a byproduct of adding value to society, and the more value I can add to society, the more money I can make. Capitalism is a very important part of the American dream. And anyone that says that it's not, capitalism is bad, go look at any communist or socialist country and see exactly how oppressed they live.
Well, it's one thing that you just said that just really struck me was that there's no guarantee. And this is the American dream. It's not the American guarantee.
Correct.
And I love that because that creates promise and opportunity. If for those of you listening and watching this, savage enough to put in the work, to have some grit, to have a vision and take action and put some risk, the opportunity is endless. On the flip side, people are still to this day escaping their countries, their guaranteed countries of socialism, which at the end of the day, it's socialism from my perspective is guaranteed to be a shithole. And ultimately, this is why people are escaping, moving to our country for the American dream. And that's why I love this particular country. I love the immigrant story. I love the immigrant edge story that you share, that I have a variation of that story. It's for people who understand that there's no guarantees in life.
Right.
At the end of the day, if it's up to you, if it's up to me, it has to be. If it has to be, it's up to me is the saying that I've always used. And I equate that with the free market capitalist American dream mentality.
Yeah. And I love how you said it, man. People are escaping, even today, 2024, they're escaping every fucking country you can think of to come to the United States. And I'm going to challenge anyone who says, yeah, but these are people escaping third world countries, in South America that are destitute, that are corrupt. Okay. How about Canada? It's a very modern country. And you and I know five people who have in the last 24 months left Canada for the United States. One of them, our dear friend Craig Valentine, went to Cancun, Mexico, right? He left Canada, bypassed the United States, went to Cancun, Mexico, just because of the lifestyle he wanted to live, etc. But even in a very developed country like Canada, that doesn't allow for capitalism the way we do here in the United States, there are people escaping a developed country. And there was a time I remember, during the Obama administration, and I don't want to make this political, but during the Obama administration, they used to talk about how amazing the Canadian healthcare system was. Well, all five of these people tell me how horrible it is. Yeah, because you get a little owie on your knee. Let's say you tore a meniscus. Like I've got a torn meniscus right now. I can make an appointment with the doctor, go get an MRI, go get that surgery immediately. There, you're on a waiting list for 6 months. The quality of your life now starts to deteriorate because there's certain things you can't do because of that torn meniscus in your knee. So you're losing muscle, you're losing quality of life, you can't enjoy for 6 months, and hoping that once that appointment comes, there's not another line for the MRI and another line and time wasted for the surgery. And so what we have in the United States is not the perfect model, but it is damn near as perfect as it comes, which is why everyone is escaping and coming to the United States, because the American dream, while not guaranteed, is most achievable here.
Amen to that. And I was just in the UK. One of my good friends I met in 2007 got married to his beautiful bride in the UK, London. Beautiful country, right? Yeah. First world country. Even there, was able to, so inspire connecting with so many new, friends and British people. They're like, dude, what's it like living in America? What's it like living in California? What's it like, experiencing, entrepreneurship, knowing I'm a CEO of an international fitness brand? Pretty inspiring and humbling at that, So it just makes you take a step back. And granted, to your point, this country's not perfect. We have a lot lot of problems. There's no doubt about that. The last few years I've been actually frustrated with our country, being very candid with you. But man, show me some other place. Show me some other place that people are still, risking everything to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't exist. Exactly. And so that's what we have to realize and acknowledge, that the American dream is alive and well. It is the new American dream. And it consists of having multiple income streams, having access to social media, and using social media to create your celebrity status, build an audience, and either build such a big audience who knows, likes, and trusts you that you can promote other people's products and services in exchange for money, as in sponsorships. Or if you have an idea or a product and you're like, man, if only I could make it to CNN, to Fox News, to the Late Night Show, to Good Morning America. Now there are no gatekeepers. You can start a YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok account, all with 0 followers and subscribers. And within 90 days, if you're posting twice a day, every day, value-added content to a specific audience that you want to serve, within 90 days, you will have several thousand people specifically designed and interested in that product or service that you're talking about and touting, and now you have to just sell it to them. And what a great way to do that. Costs you absolutely nothing other than time and effort, right? And you do, and when someone's like, just hear the conversation now, the secondary conversation that's already playing in people's heads. Well, I work 9 to 5. I don't have time to do that. Listen, if you're watching your football games at night or on weekends, if you're rooting for some bullshit team that you don't own and you wear some athlete's number or last name on your shirt and you don't own that team, you don't own equity in that, the stats of basketball teams and baseball teams, etc. You don't even know the stats of your own bank account. Like, you have plenty of time. You're binge watching different variations of TV shows and sitcoms, and they can start quoting lines from like, stop it. Like, cut all that nonsense and invest that time in creating value-added content and creating multiple income streams for yourself. Understand the more value that you add, the more money that you will make. The barrier to entry is a lot lower than ever before. While it's a dream, it is not guaranteed. So effort and time and commitment is required, right? Just because you are an American does not mean you're guaranteed it. I'm an American because I got sworn in, because I'm an immigrant. I escaped the Soviet Union. I know what oppression looks like and feels like.
Oh, yeah, man.
Like, I was sworn in as an American after having lived here for 5 years. Then you can start, take the test and get naturalized as a citizen. But just because you're sworn in, I wasn't guaranteed the American dream. From there, it was figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. And thankfully, I realized the value of the internet and what I could do with it to build an audience, to get attention, and then to give value to that audience in exchange for money.
Yeah, I love that. And man, I'm taking a step back, just hearing you. That was Bryce 1.0, so fanatic about Michigan State and the sports team and all the stats. And yeah, I want my sports team to win, but it wasn't until I manned up and was like, dude, what the hell am I doing? Yeah. Michigan State, as much as I care about them, yeah, I went to school there, the head coach doesn't give a shit about me. They're not winning national championship for Bryce Henson. I'm representing the team on my front of the chest and the back of the chest, Fit Body Bootcamp, Legacy Tribe, the empire that I'm building here. Yeah. That's what it's about. Yeah. That's what it's about. Yeah. So if you're listening to this, you're watching this and you're like, well, shoot, I'm there, but how do I get there? You talked a little bit about this, but I want you to bring us home with some pointed advice. Someone listening to this saying like, hey, I have a 9 to 5. Okay. I have all these things. And you talked a little bit about this, but for me, if I'm in that particular situation where I was, what you have to realize is your 9 to 5 is about survival. Okay. You need to be able to pay the bills. The 5 to 9 on the other side is about thrival. This is where you need to roll up your sleeves, put in the work, okay? Learn how to sell, learn how to market, learn how to be an influencer on social media, learn some practical skills, valuable skills that you can bring to the marketplace that you can launch, a business or a side hustle to start. Now, long term, I'm not a huge fan of side hustles because they distract you from your main focus. But to get the engine going, like, you got to be gritty. You got to work way farther than 9 to 5 in order to make it. So that would be a piece of pointed advice that I would give. Another thing would be, listen to podcasts like this. Surround yourself with community. Learn from other people, business entrepreneurs like you, like me, that are doing it. There's other awesome people as well. success leaves clues. So that would be some pointed piece of advice if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, knowing you're meant for something more, knowing that that maybe you're not living the American dream, but the American dream could be for you. Those are a few action steps. B, bring us home. What would you say to that person listening right now?
Well, I'm going to tell that person right now, I'm going to tell them that the lazy and uncommitted will always stay broke and dependent on the system. They will always end up being a liability to their kids, to their family. When their death comes, and all of us are destined to die, you will end up losing everything and leaving nothing to your kids other than debt, because they had to do something with your body. They had to do something with what little assets you had, and they got taxed royally for that. And so if you are lazy, if you tend to procrastinate, you're insecure about doing this, you're uncommitted, now is the time. And again, now is the time, because oftentimes people will wait until the timing is right. Let me formulate a plan. Let me create a brand. Let me make a logo. Let me go get it trademarked. And all that is just tactical loitering. Acting like they're doing something productive towards the end goal of creating another income stream or winning their freedom. Like you said, that survival job, your 9 to 5 is your survival job. Your 5 to 9 on the other side is where you're going to thrive and build your empire, build your legacy, and create FU money.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're too busy doing all this tactical work of creating logos, trying to develop a brand, what is my marketing message going to be, blah, 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 you're going to spin your wheels so long that someone else listening to this very same podcast right now is going to be like, you know what? I'm just going to start an Instagram account, or I have an Instagram account. Let me just actually put my photo up there. Nothing chaps my hide more than an Instagram account without a fucking photo, Bryce. Let's see who it is that we're talking to. Can we, folks?
Amen.
Can I just click and see your ugly mug for a second? And if I could, now I know if I like you or not. And put your content out there. Be consistent. Do it every day. Remember, earlier I said twice a day, every day for 90 days. And if you do that, your life will change. But if you overthink, if you're uncommitted, if you're lazy, you will continue to stay broke, dependent, and destitute, and become a liability to humanity.
Boom, mic drop, fired up, my friend. I hope you are too. Be freaking awesome episode. Love you, bro.
Love you.
All right, friends, I hope you got a ton of value. Assuming you did, share this with someone. That's my big ask for you. And remember, adversity is your advantage. We'll see you in the next episode.